Hey team, last time we were doing various problems involving quadratic word problems that involved heavy use of area. We also reviewed some of the basic forms of quadratics. Let's go ahead and just try to solve some equations in review. So we're going to be doing the backside of what this worksheet would be. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, zooming in on number 5. Now this is an equation. So essentially seeing this right here. Let me highlight it. All right, seeing this right there, we're going to go ahead and use inverses to move everything on one side. So some things to keep in mind is the first is keep a positive. What I mean by that, since a is currently positive 1, the number in front of the x squared, I'm going to go ahead and move this minus 2x to the left side using inverses. So what does this look like? Well, this is going to turn it to be 0 equals. Now I can't make a mistake here because I have to remember negative 24 and negative 2x are unlike terms. I'm going to write it in standard form, so I'm going to write the minus 2x first and then write minus 24. So this is the second part. Move all terms to one side, making it look like something blah 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 equal 0. And that blah 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 is always going to typically resemble bx plus c. But the idea is that you're going to have a bunch of stuff and you want to set it up equal to 0. What this does is it lets you use the zero product property. Why do you have to make it equal to 0 to unlock this? You're going to figure out that I need to factor in order to solve this. So I could use the quadratic formula at this point if I needed to, but I'm going to go ahead and use an area model. So here we go. Top left, x squared. Bottom right is always the last term, negative 24. So I need to factor this. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to know that these two values have to result in negative 2x. So let me make sure my colors are good. What multiplies together to be negative 24, but then adds together to be negative 2? So I'm going to use this t-chart. And what I'm looking for right now is when this is going to add together to be negative 2. So let's look. What are some numbers that multiply to be 24? Well, I know 8 times negative 3. Well, together that makes 5, so that's a no-go. And if I tried to do it the other way, it would turn into negative 5. Still no. I want it to be negative 2. I'm going to keep on looking, keep on looking. Well, let me try 6 and 4, because I know 6 minus 4 is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put 6 and negative 4. That would make 2, which is not what I want, but close. So it's going to be negative 6 and 4 is negative 2. This is essentially the process of unlocking the puzzle. You can also kind of do the guess and check like we did before. If I were to say what numbers multiply to be x squared, x times x. What numbers multiply to be negative 24? If I went with the first example, 8 and negative 3, when I multiply this out, 8x, well, let me write it out so those of you can follow. That's what these two multiply to be. But 8 minus 3x is not what I want. It's 5. What I'm doing over here is this is the type of thinking that will save you time and effort, is knowing where you're going to end. You know it's going to be negative 2. Watch the difference here. If I needed to reset it, it's like, oh, what multiplies to be negative 24? I know this is going to work. And does it work? Well, x times 4 is 4x. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. When I write out the area, it results in this version. So my answer is the outside of the square. What multiplies to be x squared minus 2x minus 24? Well, x plus 4, x minus 6. Because if I multiply it out, it will equal this. If I multiply these two terms together, it results in the area of the square equaling this. So this is why I'm able to do it. I'm going backwards. I'm going the inverse way. Normally to get the answer, I multiply them out, but I'm using inverses because I'm solving. Now, the zero product property lets me say x plus 4 is equal to 0 and x minus 6 equals 0. What is this going to be? Well, x is equal to negative 4. X is going to be equal to positive 6. And note what happens. In this first case, case 1, case 2, if I plugged it in, negative 4 plus 4 is going to be 0. Negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. Is this going to be 0? Yes. If I plug 6 in, 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 minus 6 is 0. Is that going to be equal to 0? Yes. Hence, they are solutions. They make the equation 0. This is why it's so important to move all terms to one side. This lets you use the zero product property.